So law of assumption is a practice that enables us to change the stories of our reality so that we can have a different experience of reality. So if we are experiencing something that is unfavorable, we can go within to consciousness and we can rewrite that narrative in order to see a different narrative expressed in our reality. It is a very empowering, exciting, and liberating practice, but it can also turn into something that is actually disempowering and quite toxic, which is not law of assumption. So today I wanted to distinguish very clearly the difference between the practice of law of assumption and the practice of gaslighting, which is not law of assumption. But law of assumption can slip into it if we are not aware of the differences, and that is what we are doing today. My name is Hedley. I'm a law of assumption coach. If you've found your way to my channel, you are in the right place, and I'm very happy you are here. If you would like to know more about me or my offerings, including law of assumption coaching, my self-concept course, and my book, I Am Money, which will completely transform your story about money, you can find all of those details in the box below this video or at my website, youaretheone.com.au. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. And if you like this video, engage with it some way, give it a like and a positive comment. That would be most appreciated. So as you know, I love law of assumption. Law of assumption has completely changed my life for the better in every possible way. My capacity to rewrite my narrative and experience that in the form of different situations and circumstances in my reality has been one of the greatest joys of my life. It hasn't been easy by no stretch. This is not a magic button that you press and go, oh my God, suddenly my whole reality has changed for the better and everything's amazing. No, it will highlight those narratives that have not been serving you for a long time, and that can actually be quite painful because it will bring up old stories and old narratives to the surface of your awareness so that you can change it. And that is not always an easy experience. It's not always comfortable, and it can be quite painful at times. Now, where law of assumption can slip over the line into something that is not empowering is when it becomes what is called gaslighting. And I want to explain this more in this video so that you can really understand the difference between law of assumption and gaslighting, because both involve the changing of the story that is the cause of reality. However, one is empowering and the other is incredibly disempowering. One of the founding principles of this work is consciousness is the one and only reality. And reality that we experience in the form of situations, circumstances, and the events of our life are the reflection of consciousness. So when we are experiencing gaslighting, yes, that is a reflection. However, we can't get to that first without at least acknowledging the reality first. So before we get into the reflection, I'm going to address this behavior at the level of third dimension, which is the dimension of reality, time, and space. So what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation, either consciously or unconsciously. Sometimes people don't know that they're doing it. Distorts, denies, or twists a person's truth that causes them to question their perception of their reality, memory, or feelings. So some examples of gaslighting are denial of the facts, where somebody will say that never happened, which is an overt form of gaslighting, even when there is evidence it did happen. Twisting reality. Oh, you're overreacting, you're being too sensitive, which is designed to dismiss the legitimacy of your concerns or emotions. Minimizing feelings. You're imagining things, which makes the person feel like their emotions or thoughts are invalid. And of course, that has a big impact on self-concept. And then blaming, turning a situation around to make the person feel at fault, especially when the manipulator or the gaslighter is the one responsible. Now, the effects of gaslighting are incredibly insidious and they can have long-lasting effects. So over time, the person may doubt their own perceptions, memory, or sanity, cause them to feel confused, powerless, or overly dependent on the manipulator, experience low self-esteem or increased anxiety, lose confidence in their ability to form healthy relationships, and or socially isolate. You might be asking, well, okay, well, am I being gaslit? Well, you will know the signs because you may be asking questions, or you may be having the experience of second guessing yourself, feeling confused and frustrated or angry, feeling like you can't trust yourself or your judgment, constantly apologizing even when you haven't done anything wrong, lacking the desire to connect with others, and just generally feeling bad about yourself. So as you can see, gaslighting is very damaging to a person's soul. I mean, this really hits at a soul level. So you can already feel the difference between law of assumption, which is uplifting and empowering and enlightening, and this experience, which is the opposite. So I want to take you through some of the differences between gaslighting and law of assumption. The first is the source of reality creation. Gaslighting is external. It comes from the characters in our reality. It occurs when somebody distorts your perception of reality to control or confuse you, and they impose their version of reality onto you at the expense of you and your reality. And that can be done consciously or unconsciously. Some people don't know that they're gaslighting, but they are, and it has the same impact. The law of assumption is internal and self-directed. It's about your capacity to consciously select your reality by assuming the beliefs and states of being that align with your desired outcomes. It empowers you rather than disempowers you, because you're able to take control of your own narrative, independent of external influences. Number 2, intent. Gaslighting is harmful and deceptive. The intent, whether it is conscious or unconscious, is to cause you to question yourself, doubt your perceptions, and become dependent on the manipulator. The law of assumption is empowering and transformative. The intent is for you to become self-dependent and to consciously have the capacity to choose the narrative that you wish to experience in your reality. Number 3. The impact on self-concept. This is huge because gaslighting erodes self-esteem, confidence, and trust in your own perceptions. And if you have been gaslit over a long period of time, you will come into law of assumption with a self-concept that is absolutely in the gutter. Over time, gaslighting will leave you feeling powerless and confused about what is real and what isn't. Law of assumption is the opposite. It strengthens your self-concept. By affirming who you are and your reality as it is, you rebuild trust in your inner world and cultivate the confidence in your ability to shape your reality accordingly. When you have full faith in yourself, you're able to trust your reality, you can acknowledge it fully, and then you have the power to change it. You can't do that if somebody keeps calling it into question and causing you to doubt your reality. Number 4, power dynamics. In gaslighting, the power lies with the manipulator. Again, the manipulator may be conscious that they're doing it or unconscious. The results are still the same. So the power lies with the manipulator while you are made to feel small, dependent, and unable to trust your own reality. In law of assumption, the power lies with you. You are the infinite I am creator of your experience, assuming a reality that aligns with your highest vision for yourself. Number 5, relationship with reality. Gaslighting distorts your perceptions of reality by external means, often leading to confusion and disorientation. The law of assumption encourages clarity by teaching that your reality is a reflection of your inner assumptions being reflected back to you. It is about consciously choosing the reality you wish to experience. So in short, gaslighting robs you of your power while the law of assumption restores your power and amplifies it. Gaslighting manipulates your perceptions of reality against your will, whereas the law of assumption invites you to step into your first person, I am creator, and select your desired reality intentionally from within. This now brings us to the concept of everyone is you pushed out, reflecting you back. So if you have a character in your reality who is gaslighting you, they are reflecting back that yes, you are gaslighting yourself. Now, you will have learned that from a history or a family system that has gaslit you, that teaches you to gaslight yourself. So when somebody comes at you and is denying your reality, causing you to question your reality or doubt your reality, that is gaslighting. And that is a reflection of how you are doing that to yourself. And you've probably been doing it for a very long time. Now, this is not about self-blame. This is about infinite responsibility to awaken to something that is no longer serving you and choose a new narrative. This is just personal preference. But for me personally, having come from a family system of gaslighting, I now have a very clear boundary that if a character in my reality has demonstrated a long-term pattern of denying my reality, bringing my reality into question, telling me I've just misunderstood my reality, or whatever it might be, they lose the privilege of being in my reality. And I have a very clear boundary now because this work has given me so much confidence in my reality. I now know my reality because I study it every day. I know what's going on in my reality. Putting a boundary around an external character is equal to putting a boundary around the internal characteristic that that character is representing. More specifically, putting a boundary around the character exhibiting gaslighting behavior equals putting a boundary around the behavior of gaslighting oneself. So clearly, if this person is gaslighting me, it means I'm gaslighting myself. So I need to stop doing that. So I put a boundary around them, which puts a boundary around that characteristic of gaslighting within myself. You don't have to get everybody to acknowledge your reality, but if somebody keeps questioning it and causing you to doubt it, it's very hard to get a grip on your own reality. You're confused. It's like, did that happen? Did I misunderstood? Was it just a joke? No. We need to stop all of that. That will erode your self-concept over time. You are entitled to your reality. You are entitled to your truth, whatever it may be. Your experience is valid. Your experience has value. Your experience is important and it needs to be acknowledged. Even if nobody else acknowledges it, you have to have the space to acknowledge it for yourself. And you can't do that if people keep coming and go, well, that didn't happen. Oh, you're just being too sensitive. Oh, that's not how it went. Oh, you must have misunderstood. You cannot get a hold of your own reality if you have people constantly bringing it into question. And that is where those boundaries are very important, because you have a right to your experience. And then once you can acknowledge your reality in its entirety, then yes, you get to change it. But nobody does that for you without your consent, and nobody tells you when to do that or how to do that. That is up for you. And you can sit with the story for as long as you need to. Sometimes we have to sit with our stories in order to feel the weight of them, to allow the pain of them. Maybe some of them have been buried for a while and we're like, oh my God, I didn't know that was there. And we need to bring our stories up. Our stories are important. They make you who you are. And yes, you're not locked into them. But nobody gets to tell you whether your story is right or wrong and how to change it and when to change it. That is something other than law of assumption, and that is not what this is about. And you are worth more. You are worth your reality in its entirety, and you are worth the full capacity of your ability to change it. You have that ability. And so it's important to protect that and to give yourself the time and space to experience that for yourself. Please know you are so important. You are so worthy. You are so valid. No matter what anyone says, your reality has value and it is valid. You do not need anyone else to acknowledge your reality, but you have to be able to acknowledge it fully. And if that means cutting a few people out of your reality, then so be it. You are worth it. You are that important, and your reality is that important. So I hope this has helped. Please give this video a like if you found it useful or helpful, and leave a positive comment, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.